We're counting down to the 2020 general elections. It's 48 days more to that day. This is your election headquarters. Just yesterday on Monday, the Electoral Commission came out with a list of candidates making it on the ballot this year to compete for our vote to become president. They disqualified 5 others. On the back of the latest news, we're speaking to Dr. Kwesi Amache-Boateng, who is a senior lecturer at the History and Political Science Department of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology for some analysis. He joins us via Zoom for this conversation. Dr. Amache-Boateng, a very good morning to you. Thank you for your time here on the AM show on JoyNews.
Good morning.
Great to have you. First of all, I think it will be good to get your reaction to that announcement of those who have made it to the ballots and the 5 others who have been disqualified. We have 12 of them making it this time around. What's your reaction to it?
Let me say good morning to your viewers. Actually, for our democracy, after this number of years, to still have so many people, coming in to compete for the office of the president, it's a little, it makes the system a little unwieldy. And you want to know whether the EC's own criteria for qualification, even for them to acknowledge a body as a political party to participate in the electoral process, you want to know whether they meet the criteria, the need for them to have, a national character, meaning that the national officers should come, across the country. The offices that they need to have in the region, the districts. You want to know whether the EC really, enforces these. Besides that, the mushrooming of independent presidential candidates. They are interesting. You want to find out exactly what it is that, is driving people up there. Is it a desire to, if you like, play a role in that particular office? Should everybody desire to go there? So at the end of the day, it is up to the EC to make sure that, going through the system becomes quite stringent. The EC should be able to come out and make sure that those who qualify really have met the criteria, and those who don't are simply taken out. Personally, I think the system is becoming a little unwieldy. So such a development to me is, if you like, rest assuring that we are not making it easy for everybody to present himself, herself as a presidential candidate.
Do you doubt that those who qualified, whether independent or belonging to the minority political parties, as we put it, truly deserve to be here? Hello, Dr. Amache-Boateng. Hello, Dr. Amache-Boateng, if you can hear me. I'm asking if you've got some doubts based on what you've said. If you have doubts that those who made it truly qualified to be on the ballots.
We need to work with an understanding that we have a competent EC in place. They know what they are doing. So when they tell us that some political parties, some individuals have qualified to participate in the process, yes, they have qualified. And those who have not qualified, definitely, they haven't. I think the
all right, we seem to have
its cast to is transparent, and so yeah, the system has been quite transparent. So those who couldn't make it, and those who have made it, we have our trust and confidence that that is exactly the situation, that the EC has done what has to be done.
But it just pulls my mind, your earlier submission, the fact that these political parties, do they really have presence in all the regions, for instance? Can they really be referred to as political parties, as in, do they qualify to be political parties in Ghana today? I'm not sure if we can ever have an answer to that. Can we?
Well, we can. You need to go to the ground and do a check. In the absence of that, you give the EC the benefit of the doubt, at this material moment.
How about the 5 others disqualified?
Sorry?
I'm asking about the 5 others disqualified. We're told about some forging signatures and so on and having been referred to the CID. There's one of the disqualified aspirants who says that he had not even been informed about all the things that the Electoral Commission had said. He didn't know that there were issues with his nomination forms, for instance.
Well, the easiest work goes through some processes. So let's see what happens afterwards. I expect those who have issues to contest, the decision of the EC. And I think it should be part of the processes. Until that is done, we want to, once again, give the EC the benefit of the doubt. I mean, it hasn't got any vested interest in getting anybody to qualify and some, out of the electoral process. To that extent, once again, we want to give the EC the benefit of the doubt and say that those who couldn't make it. They couldn't meet the criteria.
But, there are those who had said, for instance, that because of the timelines, because of COVID-19, where we are today, the EC shouldn't have even disqualified any person, just allowed all 17 to go.
That is an interesting, proposition to make. I won't go with some such thing. If it were such a free space for anyone who would like to go in to go, I'm wondering how many people wouldn't go in there. It really, managing such a process will simply not be wieldy. It won't go well for our system. I don't think that should be the way forward.
Do you suspect, though, that we'll have another incident of Pakwesi Ndum? And when I refer to that, I'm talking about somebody fighting it all the way through to the courts just so they can be on the ballots.
Definitely, they must qualify to be there.
How about okay, so I was just trying to find out if you expect that any of the disqualified aspirants will fight their way through, as in all the way going to the courts, like we saw with Pakwesi Ndum, for instance. Do you suspect that something like that would happen with these 5 disqualified?
I anticipate some such thing to happen. Yesterday, listening to your 6 o'clock news, one person, felt so bad, and if indeed he has any reason to suspect, some of the things that he threw out last night, then definitely he shouldn't end it there. He should let us see how things work out through the courts. Otherwise, he was just talking.
I also want your thoughts on the 3 women who have made it. Well, the only women who decided to come out, they've actually made it onto the ballot. Madam Ikea Donko, who's been aspiring to be here since 2012, finally made it to the 2020 ballots. We've got Madam Bridget Jobenuku, also there, and then of course Nana Kunedu Ajiman Rawlings. What do you make of the 3 women that we have this year?
Well, they are the flag bearers, if you like, and leading the charge in a way that encourages women, here with us in Ghana, to also lift their heads up and aspire for high political offices. I think it is good for the system.
But is it just for the show? Will they really make an impact?
Ghana will run a 2-horse race. If you really want to make an impact, you got to be in the MPP and the NDC. From 92 to date, the 2 parties have won more than 90% of the presidential elections. I mean, the votes. They've carried more than 90% of the votes. So that is it. That is the message from Ghanaians. You either join these 2 political parties to make significant impact, or you only add to the numbers. I don't think they are going to make any significant impact.
But then you say that will also inspire others. So if they're not going to make any significant impacts, then what message at all can they be sending to others who might want, to also put themselves up for election?
Their very presence to me is enough. I think leadership, is shared or distributed in the structure, the way Ghana has been structured all over the place. So you have various leadership positions in the Ghanaian political system. So finding women at that level, participating in the electoral process, at that high level, as an end in itself, will simply encourage, many women to also have this understanding that they can also make it.
We have some independent candidates, going into this year's election, and you've described that as interesting. I wonder the message, especially when we all do agree that we have essentially the NDC and the NPP, and you must belong to either the NDC or the NDC to make some real impact. What kind of foundation is this laying for us, and would this change the narrative going forward?
People have been talking about the need for a third force. It should come from Ghanaians. And if Ghanaians want such a third force, this will manifest in the outcome of the presidential elections. For now, I say that it's only a talk. I don't think Ghanaians are, are in for such a development. Until that, you want to say that politics actually, is moved by interest. So the emergence of several independent candidates, you want to find out their political purposes. What is it that they want to do? Is it really to, if you like, drive the national developmental agenda forward, or they have other interests? You want to find out. Some of them have not come out clearly, in terms of their contribution to policies, so that you can really understand what is it that they have as their political ideology, what is driving them, that sort of mental image they have for Ghana. And in the absence of that, you want to keep your fingers crossed and wonder what it is that is driving them. Why are they prepared to spend so much money, and at the end of the day, they are not going to get the minimum number of votes that will qualify, that will enable them at least get their money refunded, even if they don't win. It means that they lose this amount of money anytime they participate in the process. Okay, for example, you want to find out, who are supporting her. How does she come by the amount of money that the EC, set? All these things are interesting.
Well, she has said, for instance, has said that she started saving after the 2016 election. So she got enough money so she could pay for the filing fee. She's ready for this. She's always wanted to be president. There was a debate that we organized in collaboration with Imani Africa not too long ago for the independent candidates and also for the
that she has got large, cocoa farms, and that is okay. But you want to wonder whether you want to spend your own money this way. You lose it, you come in. What at all are the gains that she makes? To me, this is significant because the money is huge. She's not going to get the money back, and yet she keeps coming back. What is behind that? Why is that the situation? She's going to lose this money. Is it her own money? Is she really prepared to spend her own money that way? I'm interested in answers to these questions.
Well, I was hoping that you could supply us with some answers. It's not just Sekria Donko, but we've seen other minority political parties who keep going as well, who don't make the 12.5, and so they don't get their monies refunded in the end. But if you have any answers to share with us?
For now, no. But I still keep my interest alive, as far as these issues are concerned.
All right, sir. We'll leave it here. Thank you so much for your thoughts this morning. That's
most welcome.
All right, that's Dr. Amachi Boateng there sharing his thoughts with us on the back of this announcement that 12 candidates have now been confirmed to be on the ballot with 5 disqualified. Well, JoyNews Imani Africa brought the debates of the independent candidates and also the minority parties. Winston Amwa is deputy head of our political desk. He joins us from Tamale en route to Boko for the Joy ballot box. But of course, since we organized that debate, it would be good to get some thoughts in terms of those who were on that stage and those who have been able to make it on the ballot. Winston, A very good morning to you. How's Tamale looking this morning?
Well, so we just got to Tamale not even more than 5 minutes ago, and so I'm yet to get into Tamale to see how Tamale is looking like. But the weather feels good. Doesn't feel so hot. Feels a bit cool. So I'm okay.
We organized the minority political parties debates and for the independent parties as well. Disappointed that not all of them made it onto the ballots?
Well, you can say that, but, Mamavi, the other challenge also is that once you're filling forms, there's a likelihood that not all of them would make it. We would have loved it to have everybody on the ballot because, these persons came up with brilliant ideas, and I'm sure Ghanaians were willing to see what they could offer once they're given the chance to contest. For instance, they're talking about Kofi Kwanting, who was in that particular debate. Mary Kofi Gan was also in that debate, and you're expecting these men to actually make it for, onto the ballot paper. Mary Kofi Gan is given an indication that he is going to look at possible ways of resolving it. So, for all those persons who are expecting to see him, they may be disappointed, but the process may not be exhausted yet, as he says. I certainly would have loved to see him campaigning and telling us all the things he could do, because he had always indicated that, look, part of the challenge was the fact that, if you're not on the ballot paper yet, there are a lot of things you can't say you will do, and he was waiting for that opportunity to tell us what he will do.
Then there was also the minority parties. We've got a significant number of them also making it onto the ballot, Winston.
Exactly. I mean, for the minority parties that took part in our debate, the Convention People's Party, the People's National Convention, the Independent People's Party, All People's Congress, and the Progressive People's Party. All of them made it. So that's the good news. All those who took part in that particular debate organized by Imani and JoyNews made it and will be contesting come December 7th. Others who didn't make it, the likes of the UFP and UPP, and these are parties that have one or two issues, the UPP breaking away from the UFP. So, I don't know. The Electoral Commission has indicated that they failed to meet the requirements. But my joy is the fact that for those who engaged in the debate, all of them from the minority party side qualified to contest in the election.
I think for a lot of people, they were hearing these people, particularly the independent candidate, also the minority political parties, the much smaller ones, make their visions known on a larger platform. There were people who were paying a lot more attention to them during that debate that we organized together with Imani Africa. I wonder how you think they can carry the message forward from there. Now we know their vision. We know that they're very passionate about the country. They all want to be president. I guess the confirmation by the Electoral Commission also affirms that. But how do they carry that forward?
I had Dr. Machibating make the point, and raising concerns or questions about how Ikriadonkor was, for instance, able to raise funds. The thing about politics, Mamavi, as all of us would know, is that it's a very expensive venture. And so many of these persons may not be able to, go around the whole country. And that's why the Constitution, taxed the state broadcasters to ensure that all these political parties are giving equal coverage. Okay, of course, all of us would play our role. We have played our role. That is what I see as one of the main, thing that they could do in being able to send their message across. Look, the challenge is it's going to cost you a lot of money. If you have that money, you go ahead. But you ask yourself also, what is the membership of these political parties? I mean, what are the dues that they pay, monthly? And so would they be able to spend millions of Ghana cedis going around to campaign? If Amachi Boateng is raising concerns about Ikriadonkor's ability to pay 100,000 Ghana cedis, which I think is, being unfair to the woman, because look, if you're a farmer, if you're a cocoa farmer as she is, she should be able to raise 100,000 Ghana cedis to farm. The question is, would she be able to raise enough funds to campaign? Well, the Constitution or our laws do not prevent any individual or entity from supporting. You have to be a Ghanaian to support political parties as they get ready for elections. So the question is, do they have some financiers? Maybe they do, maybe they do not. But there's also the conversation about electionpreneurship. People don't always contest elections because they want to win elections. For some, it's self-actualization. For some, it's an indication that I'm a person of integrity. You can trust me. I am known in my country. And that becomes the avenue for doing business. these persons who are seeking to put themselves out there, are they doing that because they genuinely want to be president, or they're doing that also for their self-actualization purposes or business purposes? Years ago when I spoke to Dr. Edward Mahama, one of the things he said was, look, he was always contesting, not because he knows he will win, but he also wants to bring about policy alternatives. Okay, so he says, look, I said we could do school feeding years ago. Eventually it was done. I said we could do a free hot chocolate for students. It's been considered. It's been done. So for me, the joy is the fact that I bring about policy alternatives. So that probably could be the reason some of these persons may want to contest them.
Yeah, well, thanks, Winston, for that. But you're on your way to Boko for the Joy ballot box. What's the? I guess it's the fact that we also know those who actually be on the ballot also sets a good context for us for this edition of the ballot box. But explain to us what will be happening in Boko.
Well, so Mamavi, in Boko, Boko is like at the center of 3 constituencies. So you have Boko, you have Zebila, and then you have Garu. And so all these constituencies are going to be showing up at the Boko Community Center on Friday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. What we seek to do is to first find out from the electors, those who will be voting come December 7th, what will be influencing the choices they make, okay? So we're going to put the ballot boxes at vantage points, and then they will tell us, they will write these things. We will do the collation. Once we're done with the collation, we go out there, put the questions to them, and they would answer the questions. And the electors will then be able to make a choice as to who would best represent their interests.
And I know because of COVID-19, we're also taking all the necessary precautions. So
Exactly.
How do we want them to actually send their messages across?
No, so, and that is, I mean, I like the bit about COVID-19. When we went to Hohor, we ensured that there was strict adherence to the COVID-19 protocols, the social distancing, wearing of masks, and ensuring that we had Veronica buckets and hand sanitizers that people were able to wash their hands with soap. The point is that because of COVID-19, that's when this even becomes more important. Because of COVID-19, you wouldn't have many people turning up for political rallies, and people would even be scared of meeting lots of people. So this presents you the opportunity to actually listen to your aspirants tell you the reasons why you should vote for them. And it's not only going to be you, the whole country will be listening. And as you debate, so in many of the instances, you have one person coming and another person coming. You don't have the opportunity of this person saying, no, but you can't do this because I think mine is better. You get me? So that advantage is what we present, and that is the more reason why it's a must watch and it's a must listen.
All right. Well, Winston, we'll leave it here, allow you to settle, at least do something in Tamale, and then when you settle in Boko, we will be touching base with you throughout until the ballot box comes up on Friday. But just a quick reminder, who are the aspirants participating in this ballot box?
Let me just, I'd need to, pick my list and give them to you. And
Okay.
I'm just touching down. So once I do that, then I'll let you know.
All right. Okay, that's Winston Amoa. He's deputy head of our political desk on his way from Tamale now to Boko. We just got him as soon as he landed in Tamale. So plenty more conversations on the ballot box. Stay with us for that.